I'm going to level with you. I don't know a whole lot about TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. But if there's one thing I do know, it's how to make LinkedIn a money-making asset. See, most people scroll LinkedIn and they cringe. The same generic posts, the same stupid quotes, and those fake wins with those stupid little clapping emojis all over plastered on LinkedIn. So even though it's cringe, why have I bet the last 3 years of my life and my whole business on LinkedIn working and being the #1 place to be? LinkedIn isn't just any social media platform. It is a compounding engine with the highest concentration of wealth compared to any other platform in the world. Now, when you understand this fundamental truth, everything changes. Hello, my name is Amin, and I've managed over 100 LinkedIn accounts and made millions for my clients in the process. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I would learn LinkedIn today if I was starting from zero. Now, the first step is deceptively simple, yet in my experience, when I speak to clients and I work with them, it's the step where most people go wrong, and when they get this wrong, nothing works down the line, so pay close attention. The first step is focus. So in your business today, you may currently have a wide range of customers you currently work with, or if you're starting your business, you may have a wide range of prospects you could work with. Now, this is the beginning of your downfall. You may also have lots of interesting stories to tell and things you want to speak about. Maybe you want to speak about the customers you've worked with, your point of view on the market. Maybe you want to speak about your humble beginnings and where you grew up from and where you came from and how that's made you the entrepreneur, the business person, the person that gets results today. Or maybe you've exited your last company and you want to speak about that too. Maybe you want to get clients for your business, but you also want to grow a following. And maybe you have multiple businesses that you currently run right now. See, what I'm trying to show to you is we have lots of objectives here. Different customers, different verticals, different personal objectives for growth and revenue. And this, again, is the downfall. When I was the head of growth at my last company, I also had multiple objectives when I was posting on LinkedIn. I wanted to potentially build a freelancing side. I wanted to get newsletter subscribers. I also wanted to get some clients. And that caused friction. Friction in the form of paralysis analysis and also not building my LinkedIn profile correctly. And I bet if you're in this spot, you're constantly questioning, what should I post? What CTA should I do? How should I get people down the funnel? How often should I post? And all these other small niggling questions. And they're all a symptom of the main one. And this is why the one thing that you need to sort out from day one is focus. What is your objective on LinkedIn? One objective, one customer, one service line. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say I want to focus on a singular objective, and that is I want to provide leadership coaching services to end users, i.e. VPs and directors who are paying out their own pocket and not corporate clients. And all my LinkedIn posts would be centered around this. One objective, to get clients for my coaching program. One customer, one-on-one VPs and directors. One service, coaching, leadership programs. And that's it, nothing else. The more specific you get, the easier learning LinkedIn becomes. We don't have so many variables to solve for and play with. And before you go any further, I want you to stop and remember that there's nothing wrong with making a bad decision right now. It's okay, we can go back, we can change things. But making the decision is one of the most powerful steps you can do to get results. And not making the decision, I promise you, would cut you off at your kneecaps. And I've done this with multiple clients before. We started with a singular decision, we learned loads, and then we started either to pivot into new sectors where we found more revenue because we had a deeper understanding of our ICP, or we realized we can expand our target customer or our ideal customer persona to capture more segments of the market and to either offer more services or to offer more services to different types of clientele. But the most important thing to start with is clarity. I had this situation with an exact client. We focused on a specific ICP, which turned out not to be the right one, but we learned really quickly because when we were focusing, we were able to get a data point back really quickly from the market that they weren't receptive to buy. We changed that ICP after 3 weeks of working together, and we immediately closed 20K in revenue. We then expanded our ICP, and now we've closed over 6 figures in revenue, and we started literally from zero with an account with 1,300, 1,800 followers. Literally very, very small. Now, I personally personally know this really deeply because when I was head of growth at the last company I used to work with, which was an agency, we focused really specifically on CBD companies, cannabis companies, and we sold SEO services and we helped them grow their organic traffic. Now, at that time, if we had not done that, and when we were not doing that, we weren't making much money. But the second we did do that, our revenue skyrocketed and we hit 7 figures in ARR very, very quickly because we were able to focus on LinkedIn. Now, the next step is one I wish I knew earlier, because if I did and I knew how to do it properly, I would have actually saved months of the wrong analysis and the wrong work. And trust me, if you go down this route, I want to save you that energy right now. Now that you've got your North Star, you might be tempted to look at the biggest accounts on LinkedIn whose content you like, and that would be the most atrocious mistake that you can make today. It would be disastrous for your business because there's something devastatingly wrong. See, the accounts that you're looking at that have thousands of likes or thousands of followers or connections or are considered thought leaders and are producing the quote-unquote best content on LinkedIn are playing a completely different game. And you can think about it differently too. As a business making anything from 20K to 200K or 300K a month in revenue, you are not going to do the strategy that Apple does for their marketing. And in that extreme example, you're not going to be playing the same game that someone that looks drastically different to you is going to be playing. Now, there are 3 reasons why this doesn't work. 1 is they're probably cheating. I'll explain that in a different video. I don't want to get too much into it now. 2, because they have lots of LinkedIn connections or followers, they're playing an awareness game. They're trying to optimize for lots of views into the profile so that it funnels down, and they've basically got a solid bed of clients coming in from some other source or this existing source which they're kind of happy with, and they're trying to scale and apply a different strategy, although quick secret here, probably not the right way either. Or 3, they simply have a different objective. A lot of thought leaders on LinkedIn are trying to build a media company, i.e. amass a huge amount of following and connections and then use that to sell sponsorship slots or low digital product courses or something else that doesn't align with your objective. So instead, the best accounts to look to are the ones that are either slightly ahead of you, i.e. have slightly more LinkedIn connections or followers. I mean, under 10K is probably a good number to go with, and that have a very similar or the same objective to you, i.e. getting clients, closing deals, booking in sales calls. Now, if you go for an objective that maybe there's not many competitors in the market, you can look to other verticals that are trying to do the similar thing. So for example, say you want to get accountancy clients on LinkedIn and maybe you're struggling to find some good accounts to emulate, or look at other accounts that are selling professional services that are also trying to get clients on LinkedIn, maybe legal services, for example. And that can serve as a bit of an example to help inspire you for content. Now, you also really want to ensure that these accounts you're looking at are getting the results that you desire. So if you do want to get clients, or you do want to sell coaching, or you do want to sell courses, look to the right people that are getting the right funnel in and using the right strategy and are genuinely getting results. And you can pretty much tell from an account if they're getting results because typically they're posting case studies. That's the real hack. And as I mentioned, make sure they're not doing anything dirty under the covers, which, for example, in this specific space on LinkedIn, there's lots of. It's normally 1, engagement pods. I'm going to scroll with a video here and show you what engagement pods look like in terms of comments because I don't care anymore. 2, it's going to look like posts that look like this. They're these checklist posts, these billboard quotes. They're a bunch of waffle and they're normally backed by an engagement pod as well. Don't look to those accounts. They're basically gaming the algorithm and they're not making any money. I know that because I speak to the accounts that do them. So instead, what I recommend doing is creating a list of hyper niche, hyper focused accounts, maybe 4 or 5, and following them and starting to understand what they're posting and why they're posting it. Study their content, see what resonates, and see what you enjoy as a reader and what your prospective customers may also enjoy. That's the key bit too. So remember, at the end of the day, and you'll know this if you've ever watched any of my other videos, we do not care about likes or comments. We care about getting clients and revenue in the door, and we're not going to optimize for these vanity metrics. Now, once we've got that list of accounts that are matching our objective, we need to do the next step. And there's actually only really one way to get attention from leads and from clients on LinkedIn. The third step is to take one that pro athletes do on a daily basis. It's the thing that they do that helps them break through the wall and beat 90% of anyone else trying to compete with them. And just like how athletes hit the gym daily to build strength, you need to build your content muscle, meaning you have to post on LinkedIn every single day. And honestly, this is what separates the LinkedIn winners from the losers. I know it sounds hard, I know it sounds scary, but I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. And it's a shortcut that honestly changed everything for me, and it's a shortcut that I use whenever I need to go to any new social platform and create content from scratch. Now, instead of staring at a blank screen, twitching my fingers, struggling to identify and discover what to write, I basically cheat a little bit. I essentially do two things. One is I emulate a post from someone that I like on LinkedIn, and I basically turn that post around to fit me, or I use a proven post template that essentially works because it's got the framework right, and I interject my content, my tone of voice, and how I want to present myself on the platform. Think of this tactic like training wheels for your bike when you don't know how to ride. It works, it helps you get going, and eventually you're going to remove the stabilizers and you're going to keep on going forward faster than ever. Now, I've got templates that I've rigorously tested, and I always encourage my clients to use these templates, and I'm going to show you exactly how I can use one right now. And so this here is the before after how template, and it's really simple to use. And I'm showing you a simple one because it basically works for every single niche on LinkedIn or anything that you're selling. And the reason why it works is because whatever you're selling involves helping someone get to an outcome or get to a new goal, and in doing so they went from a before state to an after state, and you did it in a certain way. So all you have to do is you write before, and you write the pain or some sort of descriptor of what that person looked like, and then you write after what they got, and you ideally mention the customer and what they look like. So for example, Paolo, my co-founder, we had a post, we said before, not posted for 6 months. After, 5 calls booked in first week, brackets, B2B coach, brackets. This is the hook. You need to get the hook right because it needs to capture attention. Now, the reason why this hook works really well is because I know that contrast is very attractive on LinkedIn, i.e. when you have lots of contrast in your post, you typically tend to capture more attention. So a good post template already has solved a lot of these things for you that you probably don't need to think about anymore. So we use this post, you may be able to write anything about your customer, their current state, and anything about their after state. And then you can write a bit that says what we did, or what I did, or what happened. And you basically put some bullet points of what happened. And I don't need to go into too much detail here. You don't need to go into too much detail here. Because remember, when your customers buy something from you, they're not buying your process or how you got to the result. They honestly only care about the afterline. But you just do a little bit in the what we did to explain that there is a bit of a mechanism behind here, and there is a bit of science behind what you do, which I am sure is true. So we said what we did. One is we optimized the profile for clarity, and I mentioned clarity in this video. 2, we had some outbound connection requests for relevance, and we wrote 5 top funnel content posts for awareness. Clarity plus relevance plus awareness equals booked calls. So we've made it into a little bit of a framework and a system. Now the execution is more complicated, but the idea is the same nonetheless. This is a bit of a platitude. It's a bit of a statement just to tie that post together, to broaden it out again. You can do something here as well. And then finally we said I've opened up 2 new client slots next month before we raise prices again. And you can do a similar thing. I've opened up X new client slots, and you can have this scarcity or urgency tactic, or you can just ignore it. It's all good. Or you can say, hey, I had a client drop out, I've got a space open. Just say whatever is factually true and honest and relevant for your business, and then DM me. This is an awesome post that works really well. And as a tip, look at this image we put in. The tip here is use an image that proves the after statement. If you can prove the after statement in your image, it makes that post hit so much harder. And that's how you use a post template to write out a really quick post on LinkedIn. And you basically have to do this every single day on LinkedIn in order to get the result. Now, if you want more post templates that look like this, I have a mini course in my bio which you can just grab. It's not designed to cost a lot of money, but it's just designed to help you get going on your journey. If you do this just 10 times, that's 1 post every day for 2 weeks. That's it. 10 posts, 14 days. You will get more eyeballs onto your profile and more people seeing you, and people that never even knew you existed becoming aware of what you do. But those eyeballs on your profile are just the beginning. What happens after? How do you convert that attention into what I hope will be a booked call and what I really hope will be a closed client and revenue in your bank account? So if you want to turn those views into conversations and opportunities, there's a critical step you cannot miss. So once you start posting content on LinkedIn, something really interesting will happen. These numbers will start flying up. Your comments, your likes, your impressions, and what I really like the most is your profile views. Now, what you can do on LinkedIn, and this is really important to you learning about LinkedIn, is recognizing that these 4 actions, commenting, liking, viewing your profile, and becoming a new connection, ultimately are signals of intent. And we want to leverage those signals of intent to start conversations. And so in the process of learning of LinkedIn, you need to be really good at starting conversations. And that means whenever someone shows you some sort of intent that they liked your post or they commented or they are basically enjoying what you're talking about and maybe are interested in a little bit about what you do, you should go and start a conversation with them. Now, learning DMs and conversations is so important because if you can do that, you will learn how to make opportunities out of thin air. Now, if I was teaching you and giving you a tutorial on how to book in those calls, it would be slightly different. But right now, I want you to learn how the platform works and how to get the first response to a really high rate, i.e. start conversations with pretty much anyone you want on LinkedIn. Now, this is an awesome technique and I'm going to show it to you right now. All you have to do is when you log into LinkedIn in the morning, look at anyone who connected with you, profile viewed, liked, or commented, open up their profile and send them a connection request or a message. And it's simply going to be a compliment. And that's it. All you're going to do is compliment them and or their business. By complimenting them, they are going to feel indebted to respond. It's literally a psychological principle. Don't make the compliment fake though, just make it really, really genuine and you're going to get a response straight away. And what you're going to learn from this is how people think and how people talk on LinkedIn. Once you get that response, you're going to be in a really, really good place because you're going to understand then how to conversate and how to move that conversation forward into an opportunity. So just to give you an example, I'm going to scroll the feed and I found someone called Hannah Phillips and she's got a kind of cool video. I'm going to click on her profile and go through. Artist from Pittsburgh. Hey, she's an artist. That's really interesting. Let's look at her posts. Seems interesting. I actually really like the style of her videos. Wow, this is awesome. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here, click on her profile. I'm going to click more connect and I'm going to add a note. Normally I don't add notes to connection requests because it increases your acceptance rate. But if I'm just genuinely trying to give a compliment, it should be okay. I'm going to click add a note and I'm just going to say, love the artwork. And that's it. All I'm going to do. Nothing else. Now, if you can do 10 of those a day, ideally with people who are warm, who are coming and interacting with you and are ICP, i.e. your ideal customer persona, people who could buy from you, you'll be in a really, really good spot. All I want you to do is focus on learning and speaking about them more than talking about yourself. Now, at this point, you're well on your way to learning how to get more impressions on LinkedIn and how to have DMs and have conversations. But I want to show you how you can learn to essentially exploit the LinkedIn algorithm to generate you high-paying clients. So here's a quick question. Would you rather have 10,000 followers and no clients or 500 followers and 5 high-paying clients? I know which one I would choose and I'm hoping it's going to be that one too. So if you want to get that result, I'm going to show you a really quick system that helps get you qualified followers, qualified connections into your network so that you can basically supercharge and speed up everything that you're doing on LinkedIn. Now, this 5th step is a little bit more advanced. So I'm going to take my time here and I'm going to give you the step-by-step so that you can learn how this system works. And I want you to then go do it yourself and to see how it works yourself so that you can get the result. Now, what it is called is a giveaway or a lead magnet. And what we're going to do is 3 simple things. One is we're going to create an incredibly valuable resource for your ideal customer persona. So what I mean by this is think about who your customer is. What is the one thing that they probably would pay $100 to grab their hands on? So for example, if you're selling into VPs who are trying to become better leaders in their business, could you give them the ultimate leadership guide or book or a summary of all the leadership books that they've ever potentially could read and breaks down exactly what they need to do, or some sort of framework that helps them become better leaders? And what I mean by a valuable resource, I mean it's actually genuinely valuable. It's something that genuinely helps them get results in a tangible way. And it could be a how-to guide, it could be a checklist, it could be a spreadsheet, a calculator, anything really, something that gets them going and gets them really excited. Create this awesome and valuable resource. Let's call it a lead magnet. We're then going to give it away. We're going to go on LinkedIn and we're going to write a post that essentially says says something along the lines of, hey, I have this awesome resource. Do you want to get your hands on it? And we're going to put that resource out into the internet, and we're going to say, hey, if you want it, all you have to do is connect with me and comment below, and I'll send it over to you. So this thing that should have cost $100, that's really damn valuable, and that you are like, damn, should I be giving this away? You are genuinely considering, should I even be giving this away? That's how you know it's valuable. Give it away. I'm going to give it away to you for free. All you got to do is connect and comment. And what will happen if we do this right is that you're going to get a bunch of comments and a bunch of inbound connections coming in. And they're going to come in, and then you're going to send them a message saying, hey, thanks for commenting. Here's the resource. And you're going to give it to them. And they're going to love it. And they're going to be really excited by it. And they're going to use it. And they're going to get some sort of awesome result. And they're going to think, damn, that person who gave me that resource is awesome. They're really cool. And what you're going to do is realize that by doing this, you hack the algorithm, because these posts can go absolutely viral. We're talking about 20,000 to 100,000 plus impressions on a simple lead magnet post. And I've seen these results time and time again. It's absolutely incredible. And we do it for all our clients. So if I wanted to learn LinkedIn really well with this advanced strategy, I would spend a lot of attention on lead magnet posts, because these are what help you make a very quick influx of connections and followers and qualified impressions onto your LinkedIn account. Now, the final step is what turns good entrepreneurs into great ones. Credibility compounds, but only if you let it. Now, the best creators on LinkedIn, which genuinely will be you very soon, are the most iterative. They look at their data and they analyze what's going on. They think, they build systems to capture feedback, and they recognize when things are going right, they do more of it, and when things are going wrong, they do less of it. Now, the question is, what does it look like when things are going good, and what does it look like when things are going bad? The natural response is to think if impressions are up, it's good, and if impressions are down, it's bad. Not necessarily true. Naturally, if you do a post that's very bottom funnel, i.e., hey, I helped make this person money, DM me for information, it's a very bottom funnel post. It's not supposed to get impressions. It never will. But it's a good post to do. We need to do these posts. So we can judge our LinkedIn by the likes, comments, and impressions, and they're very good leading indicators to some degree. But we really care about is how many inbound conversations are we having as a result of that LinkedIn post? How many qualified people that are, looking sophisticated, work at good companies, are engaging with our content? And what does that look like for us on the back end of our business, which means how much money are we making? So study the feedback, not just the likes and comments, but everything else that happens down funnel, and give it a lag time. If you do a post today, the results of that in post on your pipeline might be 30 days, and the results of that post on your revenue and your bank balance might be another 15 days on top, for example. So we need to allow for time to bake in and for trust and credibility to grow before we can expect to cash in that check. Now, when you do this, you'll realize impressions don't mean shit. And I say that in the nicest way. And I've had clients tell me this all the time as well. And it's very interesting because they can make a lot of money, but they can literally say these vanity metrics are bollocks. And so what I suggest is around every 30 to 60 days, take a rest, take a stop, and have a look at your content and your profile and your DMs, and look back at it and think, are things going the right way? Do I need to do it for a little bit longer to have a better judge of this signal, or do I need to make a hard pivot very quickly? Now, the key is you need to make that right decision, and it can be really hard to do that alone. And that's generally why when I work one-on-one with people, we make that decision together, and I'm applying my analysis that I've gained from working on hundreds of accounts. And we do this to stop them making the wrong pivot at the wrong time, but also just to make sure that we're getting the right decision straight away and we're not going through too many iterative bad results or bad decisions. And remember, this isn't about perfection, this is about progression. Small compounding wins every day will lead to exponentially huge results. And we're here to learn, and we're here to make sure LinkedIn works for us and our business and not the other way around. Now, this is just the beginning, and this process does take time. There is nuance to the LinkedIn platform. There is nuance to how to write a hook, how to increase the contrast of it, how to use that post template correctly. Hey, hell, how to even create your own post template, how to ensure you go viral, how to do connection requests, which I haven't even mentioned on this video. If you want to speed up your learning, there are essentially two ways you can do this, and I highly suggest you consider them if you're taking LinkedIn seriously, because not doing it could cost you $1, $2, $3, $4, for, I don't know how many more months it might take. Step number 1 is you can purchase the LinkedIn Acceleration Engine. It's a $97 course just to get you going on LinkedIn. It's designed to be incredibly affordable and to get you moving with everything you need to start getting results quickly. Well, step 2, if you're ready to take this really seriously and supercharge your results and basically make money in the next 90 days, more or less guaranteed in some format, I will help you out and we will work one-on-one together. In those 90 days, we're going to do everything it takes to make money on LinkedIn, to get clients, to sign them, and to get results. Just like I've helped many clients do that before, such as Nick, who signed over 600K in revenue in 4 weeks on LinkedIn, Sivert, who closed over 250K in his first quarter working with me. We have Joshua, who went from 0 and closed over 100K in contracted revenue in the first 8 weeks of working with me, and literally countless other examples of clients who have made a silly amount of progress, revenue, and signed clients. So you can apply to work with me one-on-one down below. There's a link. It's an application link. You then have a chance to book in a call with me one-on-one. Or we can just keep watching more videos. I have an awesome one for you next, and it's how to get ahead of 99% of LinkedIn accounts in 2025. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those sort of things, and I'll see you in the next one.